Emma Parker was 4 years old when she saved her mother's life. Most 4-year-olds spend their days playing with toys, learning their ABCs, watching cartoons. Emma spent that terrible Thursday afternoon running through the streets of Amsterdam, screaming for help while her mother lay dying on their apartment floor. And nobody understood her. Nobody listened. Nobody helped until one man did. This is the story of how a grieving widow, a speech-delayed child, and a stranger from Germany became a family. How poison, betrayal, and wrongful arrest led to justice. And how sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones we trust. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning. 2 years before that terrible day, Emma's father died. His name was James Parker. He was 34 years old, a software engineer. Healthy, active, no warning signs. He had a heart attack at his desk at work. By the time the ambulance arrived, he was gone. Emma's mother, Sophia Parker, was 32. She'd been married for 6 years, had a 2-year-old daughter, and suddenly she was a widow. The grief was unbearable. But Sophia had no choice. Emma needed her. So Sophia kept going, one day at a time, one moment at a time. The hardest part? Emma stopped talking. Before James died, Emma was developing normally. She'd say mama and dada, and simple words. She was chatty, curious, happy. After James died, Emma went silent. Doctors said it was trauma, that children process grief differently, that she'd talk again when she was ready. But months passed, then a year. Emma still barely spoke, just a few words here and there, and when she did speak, it was hard to understand her. Sophia tried everything: speech therapy, play therapy, patience, love. Slowly, Emma started talking more, but her speech was delayed. She struggled with pronunciation, couldn't express complex thoughts, got frustrated when people didn't understand her. But Sophia never gave up. She became Emma's teacher, her best friend, her entire world. They lived in a small apartment in Amsterdam, just the two of them. Sophia worked remotely as a translator. Emma stayed home. They were each other's everything. Money was tight, but they managed. They had each other. That's what mattered. Sophia tried to build a support system. She joined a local women's organization called the Wonder Women Union of Amsterdam. It was a group for professional women, networking, support, friendship. Most of the women were kind, helpful, genuine, but one woman wasn't. Her name was Monica Richter. She was 42, wealthy, connected, and she wanted to be chairwoman of the organization. So did Sophia. Sophia had been nominated for the position. She was qualified, organized, had great ideas for the group. The members loved her. Monica hated that. She'd expected the position to be handed to her. After all, she had money, connections, influence. But the members wanted Sophia. The vote was scheduled for next month, and Monica was losing. So Monica decided to do something terrible. On a Thursday afternoon in September, the Wonder Women Union held their monthly meeting at a hotel conference center in central Amsterdam. Sophia brought Emma. She always did. The other women loved Emma, would play with her, keep her entertained during boring meetings. The meeting went well, discussions about upcoming events, fundraisers, community projects. At the end, there was a small reception. Coffee, tea, pastries, networking. Sophia was talking to a group of women about her ideas for the chairwoman position. Emma was nearby, coloring. Monica approached with a warm smile, holding 2 cups of tea. Sophia, I wanted to apologize. Monica's voice was sweet, too sweet. I know we've been competing for the chairwoman position, but I want you to know, may the best woman win. No hard feelings. She handed Sophia one of the teacups. I got us both chamomile. Your favorite, right? Sophia was surprised, but pleased. Thank you, Monica. That's very gracious. They clinked cups. Both drank, and Monica smiled. 20 minutes later, Sophia started feeling strange. Her vision blurred. Her head felt heavy. The room tilted. Emma, Sophia said, her voice slurring slightly. We need to go home. Emma looked up. Mama? Come on, sweetie. Sophia grabbed Emma's hand. gathered their things, said quick goodbyes. Several women asked if she was okay. Sophia smiled and said she just needed to rest, probably coming down with something. Monica watched them leave, then she quietly slipped out a side door, got in her car, drove straight to the airport. She had a flight to New York booked, leaving in 2 hours. Under a different name, by the time anyone realized what she'd done, Monica would be gone. Sophia and Emma lived 3 blocks from the hotel, close enough to walk, but with every step, Sophia felt worse. Dizzy, nauseous, weak. Emma held her hand tight. Mama, okay? Yes, baby. Just tired, almost home. They reached their apartment building. Sophia fumbled with the keys, finally got the door open. They walked inside. Sophia dropped her purse, stumbled to the couch. Emma, Mama needs to lie down for a minute. Sophia collapsed. One moment she was standing. The next, she was on the floor. Eyes closed, not moving. Emma stared. Mama? No response. Mama! Emma's voice got louder. Mama, wake up! Nothing. Emma started crying. She shook her mother's arm, patted her face. Mama! Mama! But Sophia didn't wake up. Her breathing was shallow, her skin pale. Emma was 4 years old. She didn't understand what was happening, didn't know the word emergency, couldn't call for help. All she knew was her mama wasn't waking up. And she was scared. Emma cried for what felt like forever, sitting beside her mother, holding her hand, saying "Mama" over and over. But no one came. No one heard. Their apartment was small, the walls thin, but it was late afternoon. Most neighbors were at work. The elderly couple next door was hard of hearing. Emma's cries echoed in the empty apartment. Finally, Emma made a decision. She had to get help, even though she was scared, even though she wasn't supposed to leave the apartment alone, even though she could barely talk. She had to try. Emma stood up, wiped her tears, looked at her mama one more time. I get help, Mama. Emma's voice was small but determined. I be right back. She walked to the door, reached up on her tiptoes to turn the knob, opened the door, and stepped out into the Amsterdam streets. Alone. If you've ever felt completely helpless, you know how Emma felt in that moment. Too young to understand, too scared to think clearly, but knowing her, Mama needed her. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is ask for help, even when we don't know how, even when no one seems to listen. Emma was about to learn just how hard that can be. If this story is pulling at your heart already, hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment telling me, what would you do if you were 4 years old and your parent collapsed? Let's keep going, because Emma's journey is just beginning. The first place Emma went was the coffee shop on the corner. She'd been there with her mama before. It was busy, lots of people. Someone would help. Emma pushed open the door. The bell jingled, but no one looked up. The shop was packed. Afternoon rush, people ordering coffee, sitting at tables on laptops, standing in line on their phones. Emma walked up to the counter. A young woman in her 20s, the barista named Lisa, was making drinks, moving fast, focused. Help! Emma's voice was small, quiet. Help! Lisa didn't hear her. She was steaming milk. The machine was loud. Emma tried again, louder. Help! Mama! Help! A few people glanced at her, but she was small, hard to see over the counter, and her words weren't clear. Her speech delay made her hard to understand. One customer, a businesswoman in a suit, looked annoyed. Is someone watching this child? Another person assumed Emma was with someone, probably just playing. Emma started crying again. She pulled on Lisa's apron. Help! Mama, sick! Home! Help! Lisa finally looked down. Oh, sweetie, where's your mama? Home! Emma pointed toward the door. Sick! Help! But Lisa was busy. A line of customers. Drinks to make. She thought Emma was just upset about something. Lost, maybe. She called over her shoulder to her co-worker. Tom, can you help this little girl find her parents? Tom was 17, working his first job, He came over. Hey there, where's your mom? Home! Sick! Emma was getting frustrated. No one understood. Help! Tom looked around the shop. Assuming the mother was somewhere inside, he held Emma's hand. Let's find your mama, okay? He walked her around the shop, looking for a frantic mother. But of course, there was no one. Emma got more upset. Not here! Home! She pointed to the door again. Tom was confused. Did you come here alone? Emma nodded desperately. Mama, home! Sick! Help! But Tom didn't understand. 4-year-olds don't go places alone. This didn't make sense. He thought maybe Emma was confused or playing a game. Okay, let's wait here. Your mama will come soon. Tom walked Emma to a chair, but Emma didn't want to wait. She pulled away, started shouting, Help! Help, mama! Customers were getting irritated. The child was loud, disruptive. Lisa came over. Honey, you need to calm down. Where do you live? Emma tried to explain, but her words jumbled. Home, street, mama, floor, sick, help. It wasn't clear. Wasn't making sense. Lisa and Tom exchanged looks. This child is trying to tell us something. But what? Emma's frustration boiled over. She grabbed a cup from a table, threw it on the floor. It shattered. Hey! The customer stood up angrily. Emma grabbed another cup, threw it, then she pushed a chair over. It crashed loudly. Whoa! Tom tried to grab her. Easy. But Emma was desperate. She knocked over a display of coffee bags, pulled napkins from the dispenser, threw them everywhere. Someone call the police! A customer yelled. This kid is out of control! Emma screamed as loud as she could. Help! Mama! Help! But no one understood. They just saw a child having a meltdown, a problem to be controlled. Lisa tried to pick Emma up. Okay, that's enough. Let's calm down. Emma kicked, screamed, fought, and that's when he walked in. Alexander Schmidt was 45 years old, originally from Munich, Germany. Had lived in Dallas, Texas for 12 years, where he owned a successful consulting firm. He was in Amsterdam for a business vacation, combining work with pleasure, exploring the city, relaxing before a big meeting scheduled for tomorrow. He'd walk past the coffee shop, heard screaming, saw the commotion through the window. Most people would have kept walking. Not my problem. But Alexander was a father, had 2 kids of his own back in Texas, teenagers now. But he remembered when they were small, remembered what children sounded like when they were truly scared, not just throwing tantrums. This child wasn't misbehaving. She was terrified. Alexander walked into the shop, saw Emma fighting the barista, saw the broken cups, the chaos. Stop, he said calmly but firmly. Lisa looked up. Sir, this isn't your concern. Yes, it is. Alexander walked closer. He knelt down to Emma's eye level, away from Lisa's grasp. Emma was still crying, panicking. Alexander held up his hands, gentle, non-threatening. He spoke softly in English, guessing she might understand. Hello, my name is Alexander. I'm not going to hurt you. I want to help. Something in his voice, his calm demeanor, it made Emma pause. She looked at him, tears streaming, gasping for breath. What's your name? Alexander asked gently. Emma, she whispered. Emma, that's a beautiful name. Alexander smiled kindly. Emma, what happened? Why are you so scared? Emma took a shaky breath. Mama, home, sick, floor, no wake up. Alexander listened carefully, didn't interrupt, didn't assume, just listened. Your mama is sick? At home? She fell on the floor? Emma nodded frantically. Yes, yes, help! Alexander understood immediately. This child wasn't throwing a tantrum. She was trying to save her mother's life. Okay, Emma, I will help. Can you show me where you live? Emma nodded, grabbed his hand. Yes, come. Alexander stood, looked at Lisa and Tom. Call an ambulance. This child's mother is in medical distress. Send them to. He looked at Emma. What street do you live on? Emma pointed. That way, she doesn't know the address, Alexander realized. He made a quick decision. Call an ambulance and tell them to stand by. I'll call with an exact address once I find the mother. He followed Emma out of the shop. She pulled his hand. Running. Hurry, hurry. I'm right here, Emma. Show me. They ran down the street, Emma leading, Alexander keeping pace. She turned a corner, pointed to a building. There, Mama there. Which apartment? Emma pushed through the door. It was still unlocked from when she left. Up the stairs, Alexander followed. She burst into the apartment. Mama! Alexander saw Sophia immediately. On the floor, pale, barely breathing. He knelt beside her, checked her pulse, weak but there, checked her breathing, shallow. He pulled out his phone. Called emergency services. I need an ambulance immediately. Woman, approximately 30 years old, unconscious, shallow breathing, possible overdose or poisoning. Addresses. He looked around, found an envelope on the table with the address, rattled it off. They're on their way, the operator said. Stay with her. Don't move her. Is she breathing? Yes, but barely. Does she have a pulse? Yes, weak. Okay. Help is coming. Stay on the line. Alexander looked at Emma. She was sitting by her mother, holding her hand. Mama! Man, help! Man, help! Alexander felt his throat tighten. This little girl had done everything right, and no one had listened. Until now. The ambulance arrived 6 minutes later. Paramedics rushed in. They assessed Sophia quickly. Pupils dilated, slow heart rate, low blood pressure, clammy skin. What happened? The lead paramedic asked Alexander. I don't know. I just found her. This is her daughter. She came to get help. The paramedic looked at Emma, then back at Sophia. They loaded Sophia onto a stretcher, started an IV, oxygen mask. We need to get her to the hospital. Now, one of you coming with us? Alexander looked at Emma. She can't stay here alone. I'll come. In the ambulance, the paramedics worked on Sophia, checking vitals, administering medications. One of them asked Alexander, "Are you family?" "No, I found her." The daughter asked for help. The paramedic nodded. "Okay, we'll need information at the hospital." Alexander held Emma's hand. She was so small in the big ambulance, watching her mama, scared but quiet now. "Your mama is going to be okay," Alexander said softly. "These people are helping her." Emma nodded, looked up at him. "Thank you." Alexander's heart broke a little. "You're very brave, Emma." At the hospital, everything happened fast. Sophia was rushed into the emergency room. Doctors and nurses swarmed. Alexander and Emma were left in the waiting area. A nurse took Sophia's information from Emma's limited answers and Alexander's observations. "Do you know what she ingested?" the nurse asked. "No," Alexander said. "The daughter said she was fine earlier, then collapsed at home." The nurse nodded grimly. "We'll run tests." Another nurse asked for Alexander's information. For the records, he gave his passport, business card, contact information. And that's when things got complicated. A doctor came out 20 minutes later, looking serious. "We've stabilized her, but she's been poisoned." "Poisoned?" Alexander stood up. "How?" "We found traces of a rare toxin in her blood, arsenic-based compound, slow-acting, meant to mimic natural causes. If her daughter hadn't gotten help when she did..." The doctor didn't finish. "Didn't need to." Alexander felt sick. "Someone did this intentionally?" "It appears so, which means this is a police matter. They're on their way." Alexander's stomach dropped. Police! And here's where Alexander's good deed turned into a nightmare. 2 police officers arrived 30 minutes later. They talked to the doctors, reviewed the case, then they approached Alexander. "Mr. Schmidt?" "Yes, we need to ask you some questions. Where were you this afternoon?" "I was sightseeing, walking around the city. Then I heard commotion at a coffee shop and helped this child." "And you don't know the victim?" "No. I've never met her before today." The officers exchanged looks. "Can you come with us to the station? For questioning? Am I under arrest?" "Not at this time. But we need a formal statement." Alexander felt panic rising. "But I didn't do anything wrong. We understand. But you were the only adult with the victim when she arrived at the hospital. We need to rule you out." "What about the child?" Alexander gestured to Emma, who was sleeping in a chair. Social services will take care of her until her mother wakes up. No. Alexander's voice was firm. She doesn't know anyone. She's traumatized. She needs someone familiar. The officer sighed. Fine. She can come with us for now. But we need to go. Now. At the police station, Alexander was questioned for hours. Tell us again how you found the victim. I heard a child screaming in a coffee shop. She was trying to get help. I listened to her. She led me to her apartment where her mother was unconscious. And you just happened to be walking by? Yes. I'm in Amsterdam on business. From Texas? Yes. I own a consulting firm in Dallas. What's the nature of your business here? I have a meeting tomorrow with a potential Dutch client. I can give you their contact information. The officers took notes, checked his story, called the coffee shop, verified his account, but they also looked at security footage from the hospital. It showed Alexander arriving with Emma, calling the ambulance, but nothing before that. There was no footage of him at the coffee shop. The shop's cameras hadn't been working that day. And here was the problem. To the police, Alexander looked suspicious. Foreign businessman, alone with a poisoned woman and her child. No witnesses to his good deed story. The coffee shop staff confirmed a man had taken the child, but they couldn't identify Alexander. Clearly, it had been chaos. They hadn't paid close attention. Emma tried to explain. Man, help! Man, nice! Help, mama! But Emma's speech was hard to understand, and to the police, she was an unreliable witness. Too young, too traumatized. Speech delayed. They kept Alexander overnight. In a holding cell. Not officially arrested, but not free to leave either. Emma stayed in a room at the police station with a social worker, crying, asking for her mama, asking for the nice man. Have you ever been accused of something you didn't do? Had your kindness turned against you? That's where Alexander was, in a foreign country, helping a child, and now being treated like a criminal. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Sophia was fighting for her life. The doctors worked to flush the poison from her system. She'd been lucky. The dose had been meant to kill slowly over days. Emma's quick action had saved her. But Sophia was still unconscious, in a medically induced coma, giving her body time to recover, and every hour she didn't wake up was another hour Alexander stayed under suspicion. If this story is making your heart race, leave a comment. Tell me, could you stay calm if you were wrongly accused? Hit that like button and let's continue. Because this case is about to take a dramatic turn. 3 days passed. Alexander was still at the police station, not in a cell anymore, but not allowed to leave Amsterdam. His business meeting had come and gone. He'd had to cancel, apologize. He might lose the deal. Months of work down the drain. But he didn't even care about that. He cared about Emma and about Sophia waking up to clear his name. Emma was staying with a temporary foster family. The social worker said she barely spoke, just cried. Asked for her mama, asked for Alexander. It broke his heart. On day 4, something finally happened. Sophia woke up. She was weak, confused. Her throat hurt from the breathing tube. Her head pounded. A nurse saw her eyes open, called for the doctor. Miss Parker, can you hear me? Sophia nodded weakly. You're at Amsterdam Medical Center. You were poisoned. Do you remember what happened? Sophia's mind was foggy. She tried to think. Fragments came back. Meeting, tea, Monica. Her eyes widened. She tried to sit up. My daughter, where's Emma? She's safe. With social services. The doctor gently pushed her back down. Miss Parker, we need to know what happened. Who did this to you? Sophia's voice was hoarse, but clear. Monica Richter, she gave me tea at the meeting. Wonder Women Union, that's the last thing I remember. Can you describe this meeting? When? Where? Sophia told them everything. The hotel, the organization, the chairwoman competition, Monica handing her tea. The doctor called the police immediately. 2 detectives came to Sophia's room an hour later. They questioned her carefully, got details, names, the hotel name, everything. Miss Parker, do you know a man named Alexander Schmidt? Sophia frowned. No. Who is he? He's the man who brought you to the hospital with your daughter. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Where is he? I need to thank him. He's been in police custody, under suspicion of poisoning you. What? Sophia tried to sit up again. No! He saved my life. My daughter went to get help and he listened to her. He brought me here. The detectives nodded. We believe you. We're releasing him today, but we need to find Monica Richter. They went to the hotel, pulled security footage from the day of the meeting, and there it was, clear as day. Monica handing Sophia a cup of tea, Sophia drinking it, Monica slipping something small and dark into her purse, probably the poison container. Then later, Monica leaving quickly, looking nervous, checking her watch. They ran Monica's information, found she'd booked a flight to New York that same day. Under her real name, they tracked her to New York, then lost her. She disappeared into the city. An international warrant was issued, but Monica was gone. Still, they had evidence. They had Sophia's testimony. They had the footage. Alexander was cleared. Officially released. All suspicions dropped. He went straight to the hospital. To check on Sophia and Emma. Emma was there when he arrived. The social worker had brought her to see her mama. The moment Emma saw Alexander, she ran to him. Man! Nice man! Alexander knelt down, hugged her. Hello, Emma. I'm so glad you're okay. Emma pointed to her mother in the hospital bed. Mama, wake up! I heard. That's wonderful news. Sophia watched this interaction. This stranger who'd saved her life. This man who'd been arrested for helping, and her daughter clinging to him like he was family. Mr. Schmidt? Sophia's voice was weak but warm. Alexander approached the bed. Yes, and please, call me Alexander. Thank you. Sophia had tears in her eyes. Thank you for listening to my daughter, for believing her, for helping us. Of course. Alexander smiled gently. She's a very brave little girl. She is. Sophia reached for Emma's hand. Come here, baby. Emma climbed onto the bed carefully. Mama, okay now? Yes, sweetheart. Mama's okay. Thanks to you and Alexander. Emma beamed. I get help, like you teach. You did perfectly. Sophia kissed her forehead. She looked at Alexander. I heard you were held by police. I'm so sorry. Don't be. You couldn't control that. I'm just glad you're recovering. They talked for a while. Sophia told him about James, about being a widow, about Emma's speech delay, about the Wonder Women Union and Monica. Alexander told her about his life in Texas, his consulting business, his 2 teenage kids, his divorce 5 years ago, this business trip that had turned into something unexpected. There was a connection, a warmth, an understanding. Over the next 2 weeks, as Sophia recovered in the hospital, Alexander visited every day, brought books for Emma, flowers for Sophia, just sat and talked. Emma started calling him Uncle Alex, then just Alex. Then one day, she looked up at him with her big eyes and said, Dada? Alexander froze, looked at Sophia. Sophia looked at Emma, both uncertain how to respond. Emma, Sophia said gently, Alexander isn't your dada, but he's our very good friend. But I like Dada, Alex, Emma said simply. Alexander felt something shift in his chest. You can call me whatever you're comfortable with, Emma. I'm honored either way. When Sophia was finally discharged, Alexander helped them get home, helped them settle in, made sure they had everything they needed. He was supposed to fly back to Texas. Work was piling up. His kids missed him. His life was waiting. But he didn't want to leave. Not yet. Sophia didn't want him to leave either. Neither did Emma. So he stayed. Extended his trip, worked remotely from Amsterdam, spent his evenings with Sophia and Emma. They went to parks, museums, had dinners together, talked for hours after Emma went to bed. Sophia told him things she hadn't told anyone about her grief, her fears, her loneliness, her dreams. Alexander told her about his failed marriage, his workaholic tendencies, his regrets about not being present enough for his kids when they were young, his desire to do better, be better. 3 months after they met, Alexander and Sophia realized they'd fallen in love. It wasn't dramatic, wasn't sudden, It was quiet, gentle, real. One evening, after putting Emma to bed, they sat on Sophia's couch, Sophia's head on Alexander's shoulder. "I don't want you to go back to Texas," Sophia said quietly. "I don't want to go either," Alexander admitted. "Then don't. What about your life here? Emma's routine? Your work? I'm a translator. I can work from anywhere." "And Emma," Sophia smiled, "Emma loves you. She's happy when you're here." "I love her too." Alexander turned to face Sophia. "And I love you." Sophia's breath caught. "I love you too." They kissed. Gentle. Sure. Right. 6 months later, Alexander proposed. On a bridge in Amsterdam, Emma was there, holding the ring box. Grinning, Sophia said yes. They got married in a small ceremony. Emma was the flower girl. Alexander's kids flew in from Texas. They were skeptical at first, but warmed up quickly to Sophia and especially to Emma. The plan was to move to Dallas. Alexander's business was there, better opportunities, fresh start for all of them. Sophia was nervous, but excited. A new country, new life, new family. Emma was thrilled. She'd been working with a speech therapist. Her speech had improved dramatically. She could have full conversations now. Still some delays, but nothing like before. She talked nonstop about Texas, cowboys, big houses, swimming pools. They flew to Dallas on a sunny Tuesday in May. Alexander's company, Schmidt Consulting, was based in downtown Dallas. Nice offices, good team. He'd built something he was proud of. 2 weeks after they arrived, Sophia visited Alexander's office for the first time. Emma was in school. Sophia wanted to see where Alexander worked, meet his team. Alexander gave her a tour, introduced her to people, showed her his office with its view of the Dallas skyline. Then they walked to the conference room. Alexander had a board meeting. Sophia was going to wait in his office. Read, relax. But as they passed the conference room, Sophia glanced inside through the glass door and froze, sitting at the conference table, laughing with other board members, wearing an expensive suit, looking confident and comfortable, was Monica Richter. Sophia's vision blurred. Her breath caught. Her hands started shaking. No, that's impossible. Alexander noticed immediately. "Sophia? What's wrong?" Sophia grabbed his arm. "That woman, in the conference room. Who is she?" Alexander looked. "That's Monica Richardson. She's on our board. Joined about 4 months ago. Came highly recommended from a firm in New York." "Why?" Sophia's voice was barely a whisper. "That's not Monica Richardson. That's Monica Richter. The woman who poisoned me." Alexander went pale. "Are you sure? Positive?" Sophia's hands trembled. "I'd recognize her anywhere." Alexander's mind raced. Monica Richardson had come from New York 4 months ago. Right after the poisoning, she changed her last name slightly, used fake references, fake background. She'd infiltrated his company, been sitting in his meetings, had access to his business, his life, and now his wife was here. The woman Monica had tried to kill. "Stay here," Alexander said firmly. "Don't let her see you." Sophia nodded, pulled her scarf up to partially cover her face, stepped back from the glass. Alexander walked into the conference room. Calm, controlled. "Everyone, I apologize, but I need to postpone this meeting. Something urgent has come up." The board members looked confused, but they gathered their things, started filing out. Monica stood, smiled at Alexander. "Is everything all right?" "Yes, just a personal matter. We'll reschedule." Monica walked toward the door, passed right by where Sophia was standing outside. Didn't see her, didn't recognize her. Sophia held her breath, watched Monica walk to the elevator, disappear inside. The moment Monica was gone, Sophia collapsed against the wall. Alexander caught her. "She's here. She's been here for months." Sophia was shaking. "How did she end up at your company?" "I don't know, but we're calling the police. Right now." They went to Alexander's office. He called the Dallas police, explained the situation, international warrant, poisoning case in Amsterdam, fugitive using a fake name. The police took it seriously. An officer arrived within 20 minutes, took statements, called the Amsterdam police to verify. They put out a discreet alert. Didn't want to spook Monica, needed to catch her. That evening, Monica returned to her apartment in Dallas. Police were waiting. She was arrested without incident. She tried to deny everything at first, claimed mistaken identity, said she'd never been to Amsterdam, but they had fingerprints matched to the teacup from the hotel. They had security footage. They had Sophia's testimony, and they had her passport. Hidden in her apartment, under her real name, Monica Richter, with entry stamps from Amsterdam, New York, Dallas. She'd been running, hiding, building a new life, hoping she'd never be found. But fate had other plans. Monica Richter was extradited back to Amsterdam. She stood trial for attempted murder. The evidence was overwhelming. She was sentenced to 15 years in a Dutch prison. During the trial, Monica's lawyer tried to argue she'd been under stress, that the chairwoman competition had driven her to temporary insanity. But the prosecutor pointed out something crucial. Monica had purchased the poison 3 weeks before the meeting, had planned the dosage carefully, had booked her escape flight in advance. This wasn't temporary insanity. This was premeditated attempted murder. The judge agreed. After the trial, Sophia, Alexander, and Emma returned to Dallas, to their new life. But there was one more piece to their story. One evening, about a year after Monica's conviction, Sophia and Alexander were sitting on their back porch in Dallas. Emma was inside doing homework. Alexander took Sophia's hand. "I've been thinking about something." "What's that?" Emma, she's 8 now, starting to ask questions about siblings, about family. Sophia smiled. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" "I'm saying I'd like to have a child with you, if you want that too." Sophia's eyes filled with happy tears. "I'd love that." 9 months later, they welcomed a son. They named him James. After Sophia's first husband, Alexander insisted, said it was important to honor the man who'd given Sophia her beautiful daughter. Emma was thrilled to be a big sister. She helped with everything. Read to James, sang to him, protected him fiercely, and watching her, Sophia thought about that terrible day 4 years ago, when everything could have ended if Emma hadn't been brave, if Alexander hadn't listened, if they hadn't found each other in the chaos. But they had, and now they were a family. Blended, complicated, beautiful. Sometimes, Sophia thought about Monica, about how jealousy and ambition had driven her to such darkness. But mostly, Sophia thought about light, about love, about second chances. She'd lost her first husband, had been poisoned, had nearly died, but she'd survived. And she'd found love again. Real, honest, deep love. And Emma, her brave little girl, had saved them all. This story isn't just about a poisoning or a wrongful arrest or even about justice. It's about the power of listening. Alexander could have walked past that coffee shop, could have ignored a screaming child like everyone else did, could have assumed someone else would handle it, but he listened, really listened, to a 4-year-old with a speech delay who nobody else could understand. And that choice changed 3 lives forever. Emma is 12 now. Her speech is perfect. She's in the gifted program at her school in Dallas, wants to be a doctor when she grows up. She says it's because she wants to help people the way Alexander helped her mama. Alexander's older kids, Michael and Sarah, visit regularly. They adore Emma and James. The blended family works. It's not perfect, but it's real. Sophia runs her own translation agency now, based in Dallas, but with clients worldwide. She's successful, independent, happy. Alexander's consulting firm grew. He hired more people, expanded, but he learned something important. Success means nothing if you're not present for the people you love. He leaves work at 5 now, has dinner with his family every night, coaches James's soccer team, helps Emma with her science projects. The life he'd been too busy to give his first kids, he's giving to his second family. And his first kids see the change, respect it, even appreciate it. Every year, on the anniversary of that terrible day, the family does something together. Sometimes they go to the place where Alexander and Sophia first met, that coffee shop in Amsterdam. It's become a tradition when they visit Europe. Emma always insists on going inside. She points to the spot where she stood screaming, where nobody helped, And then she points to the door where Alexander walked in. That's where everything changed, she says every time. That's where Dada found us. The coffee shop staff eventually learned the story. Now there's a small plaque on the wall. It says, "Sometimes the smallest voices need to be heard the loudest." It was Emma's idea. But there's one more part of this story. One more piece that shows how connected everything really is. 2 years after Monica's trial, Sophia got a letter from Monica from prison. Sophia almost threw it away, but curiosity won. She opened it. The letter was short. "Dear Sophia, I know you have no reason to read this, no reason to care about anything I have to say, but I'm writing anyway. I'm sorry. I know those words aren't enough, could never be enough. I tried to kill you because I was jealous, because I wanted something that you had earned and I hadn't. I destroyed my life. I almost destroyed yours. And for what? A position in an organization that doesn't even exist anymore? I've had a lot of time to think in here. About the kind of person I became. About the choices I made. About the darkness I let consume me. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know, I'm glad you survived. I'm glad your daughter saved you. I'm glad you found happiness. You deserved all of it. And I deserved this. I hope you never think about me again. I hope you live a beautiful life. That's what I should have wanted from the beginning." Monica, Sophia read the letter 3 times, then showed it to Alexander. "Do you think she means it?" Sophia asked. Alexander was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Does it matter? What do you mean? Whether she means it or not doesn't change what happened, doesn't undo the harm. But if it's real, if she's truly remorseful, then maybe she'll spend the rest of her life trying to be better. And that's between her and herself." Sophia thought about that. "You're right. This isn't about her anymore. It's about us, our life, our family." She folded the letter, put it away, and never read it again. Because the truth is, Monica Richter was a chapter in their story. An important one, a terrible one, but just a chapter. The rest of the story was about healing, about love, about building something beautiful from something broken. There's a moment Sophia thinks about sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and everyone's asleep. She thinks about that conference room in Dallas, about seeing Monica sitting there, laughing, comfortable, living her life under a fake name. What if Sophia hadn't visited the office that day? What if she'd never seen Monica? Monica would have kept working with Alexander, would have been part of their lives, would have had access to their home, their family, their daughter. The thought makes Sophia cold, because she knows, deep down, that Monica might have tried again. People who poison once often try again, but fate intervened, or God, or the universe, whatever you want to call it. The woman who tried to kill Sophia ended up working for her future husband in a city thousands of miles away. At the exact moment when Sophia would see her, what are the odds? Alexander asked once when they talked about it. "Astronomical," Sophia replied. "But maybe that's the point. Maybe we were always supposed to find each other. And maybe Monica was always supposed to face justice." "Maybe," Alexander agreed. "Or maybe we just got lucky. I think it's more than luck." "What do you think it is?" "Emma," Sophia smiled. "Emma saved my life that day. Emma brought you to us. Emma's courage started everything. If that's not meant to be, I don't know what is." Emma doesn't remember much about that day anymore. She was so young. The trauma is mostly healed. What she remembers is feeling scared, and then feeling safe when Alexander helped her. But there's one thing she'll never forget. She remembers standing in that coffee shop, screaming, crying, breaking things, and everyone looking at her like she was a problem, a nuisance, something to be removed. She remembers feeling invisible, like her voice didn't matter, like nobody cared. And then she remembers Alexander kneeling down, looking at her, really seeing her, and saying, "I want to help." That's the memory that matters. When Emma gets frustrated now, when her little brother won't listen, when her homework is hard, when friends don't understand, she thinks about that day. She thinks about how persistence matters, how making noise matters, how refusing to give up matters. Her mama almost died because she couldn't ask for help, but Emma did ask, and kept asking, and didn't stop until someone listened. That lesson shaped who Emma became. A girl who speaks up, who fights for what's right, who doesn't let people ignore her. She's her mother's daughter, strong, determined, brave. But she's also Alexander's daughter now. He adopted her officially 2 years ago. She has his last name, his protection, his love. And she has a little brother who thinks she's the coolest person in the world, who follows her everywhere, who listens to every word she says. Sometimes Emma looks at James and thinks, he'll never know what it's like to not be heard, because I'll make sure he's always heard. That's what big sisters do. This story started with poison, with betrayal, with a 4-year-old's desperate cry for help. But it ends with this: a family having dinner on a Sunday evening in Dallas. Sophia at one end of the table, Alexander at the other, Emma and James on the sides, laughing, talking, arguing about whose turn it is to do dishes. Normal, beautiful, real. Sophia catches Alexander's eye across the table. He smiles. She smiles back. They don't say it out loud, but they both think the same thing. We made it. Through grief, through fear, through injustice, through uncertainty, they made it together. And somewhere in Amsterdam, in a prison cell, Monica Richter thinks about the life she destroyed. Her own life. The life she almost took. She has 13 more years to think about it. But Sophia doesn't think about Monica anymore. Doesn't waste energy on anger or fear or what ifs. She thinks about Emma's laughter, James's silly jokes, Alexander's steady presence, the family they built from ashes. She thinks about second chances, about how life can surprise you, about how the worst moment can lead to the best chapter. She thinks about a little girl who wouldn't give up, who saved her mama, who changed everything, and she's grateful every single day for all of it. Thank you for staying with Sophia, Emma, and Alexander through their entire journey. Their story teaches us something crucial. Listen to people, especially when they're hard to understand. Emma had a speech delay. She was 4 years old. She was panicked and unclear. But Alexander listened anyway. He didn't dismiss her, didn't assume she was overreacting. He listened with his full attention and believed what she was trying to say. How many people do we dismiss every day? How many voices do we ignore because they're inconvenient or hard to understand or don't fit into our schedule? Emma's voice saved her mother's life, but only because one person stopped long enough to truly hear it. This story also reminds us that betrayal can come from unexpected places. Monica was part of Sophia's support group, someone she trusted, someone she saw as a friend. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it wears a smile and hands you a cup of tea. But here's the beautiful part. Good also comes from unexpected places. Alexander was a stranger, a foreigner, someone who had no reason to get involved, but he did. And his kindness, his simple act of listening, changed 3 lives forever. Sometimes the person who saves you isn't who you expect. Sometimes it's a stranger in a coffee shop. Sometimes it's a 4-year-old with a speech delay. Sometimes it's yourself finding courage you didn't know you had. If this story touched your heart, please do a few things for me. Hit that subscribe button. More stories like this are coming. Real emotions, real lessons, real hope. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that their voice matters, that persistence pays off, that happy endings are possible even after terrible beginnings. Leave a comment and tell me, have you ever felt like nobody was listening to you? How did you handle it? Or have you ever been the Alexander in someone's story? The person who stopped and listened when everyone else walked by. And remember this, your voice matters. Your story matters. The people in your life matter. Listen to them. Really listen. You might save a life. You might find love. You might discover that the person everyone else ignores is exactly who you were meant to help. This is Tell Sunnac, where we tell stories about real people facing real challenges and finding real hope. We believe in second chances, in courage, in the power of one person choosing to care. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to Emma's story. Thank you for believing that small voices deserve to be heard. See you in the next story. Until then, pay attention. Listen carefully. And never underestimate what a child is trying to tell you.